Yeah, but that needs to get out. No, nothing like pirates. Yeah, I think I've only gone to East since. Southeast over the road.
Good afternoon, parliamentarians and guests. Good afternoon. Hello. No, I know. Okay, can we get started for the
Are we finding the subject?
Should call this meeting to order. This 29th day of August. I'm going to start with we can invite President Johnny here. Hello. Okay. Can I call on someone to Terry Dana? Is Dana? Yes, Dana. Dana, you ready to give the Rotary Loyal?
Dana. What did you name again?
Thank you. Okay. Well, what I'll do, I'll ask my predecessor coming in. Say the Royal Grace first, please.
Royal Grace, Rotary Grace, please bow. God grant us the wisdom to build and the way to emulate service above self, so that we may, in our thoughts and in our deeds, live Rotary. Amen.
Amen.
As past President Tom takes a seat, we'll ask him to do the loyal toast for us, please. Is there David transgressions coming late?
Remember what it is.
To the Queen, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's the one.
Yes. Join me in the loyal toast. The Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Hey, hey, hey.
All right, well, I see now we got 105. So we'll go straight in. We go straight into the agenda for today. And we'll start by introduction. This is the Rotarians. Yes.
Yeah, Mike Lightborn, East Nassau.
Mike Lightborn, East Nassau. Welcome, Mike. Any other visiting Rotarians, either here or as past ADG Larry says, there on air. Any visiting Rotarians?
Hello.
Yes.
You know,
Hi, good afternoon, Rotarians and fellow guests. Yeah, my name is Elizabeth Toby. You may call me Liz. I'm from the Rotary Club of Life, Jamaica. I'm currently the president of that club. It's based in Montego Bay, Jamaica.
Nice, awesome. Well, good to have you. Welcome, Rotarian. Can you say your name again for us, please?
Elizabeth, you may call me Liz.
Liz, yes. Good to have you, Rotarian Liz, all the way from Montego Bay. Very nice.
Good afternoon. This is Margaret Smith from Rotary Club of South Ocean, Treasurer. Pleasure to be here.
Rotarian Margaret, good to have you as well. All the way from South Ocean. Good to have you as well. Let's please give our Rotarians.
PAG Karen is on, but she can't open her mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, PAG Karen is also on, so let's give all of them greetings. Thank you. Okay, do we have any non Rotarians? Yes, with us today. No, no guests, no non-Rotarian guests with us today, all Rotarians? Nice. Okay, well, our caucus should be full with fines. Of course, we have a guest speaker. We get ready to you, sir. What you can find in here? Okay, what's his congregation president on it?
David Jordan.
David showing up? Okay.
He was the first person here.
All right. All right, okay, so,
Yes.
where we at now? Well, let's continue then to, let me see, look at the agenda first before I. take this. Announcements, 116. Yeah, I now would invite to the podium, our president, our illustrious president, right, our newest president, President Derek. Please. Thank you very much, President, RCN.
Together.
Well, this week, maybe your week, but RCN.
Together.
Again, this is really a great time for us to be here at the Rotary Club of Nassau. I want to take this time to welcome all of you. Unfortunately, those who are joining us online may not be able to hear me as good because we're trying to get the mics sorted out, but it's good to have all of you joining us in this meeting today. So many persons are joining us either in person or joining us live via social media. So good to have you joining us today. In terms of my announcements, over this weekend or last weekend, we had a wonderful time there at Stephen Diller. Come on, give all of yourself wonderful round of applause. Listen, it was so exciting. We had the chance to interact with the boys and the girls and the parents there in the Stephen Diller community. And I can tell you, from the time that we hit the door, they were excited to see us. And I think I would do an injustice by trying to announce it myself. So I invited Samita, who was our educational chair, to come and give us a very brief review of what transpired there at Stephen Diller on Saturday.
They come here to preach, right?
You can hear you.
All right, listen. Let no one ever comes to you without leaving better and happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness, kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your heart. That's from Mother Teresa. The joy that we saw in the faces of the children was sufficient enough to know that we were reaching children's lives from the inner city. The Rotary Club of Nassau's Back to School Shine Bright initiative was held, as you know, on Saturday past at our adopted school, Stephen Dillard Primary School. Rotarians, interactors, family, and friends showed up in full force to assist the service above South initiative. The format of the day took a different spin as we included a pep rally with purpose of getting the children motivated and inspired prior to the official of school opening. The afternoon was filled with inspirational nuggets from Teen International World Bahamas 2023 to Moya Walton. Rotarians from the Rotary Club of Nassau brought some nuggets, firing nuggets. Puppeteers Chanel and Ariel Pinder, also Ms. Wallace, the principal of Stephen Dillard Primary School, and Dr. Tamika Ferguson, who highlighted the importance of maintaining healthy teeth, brushing, and eating healthy, all brought some gold nuggets. Dr. Tamika Ferguson was able to distribute over 172 brushes, which was given away. In addition, she was able to bless 3 children who had never been to the dentist. She was able to bless them with a visit, so we could get hands on to go. We also have the Nurses Association that came and they provided health screening for over 51 individuals from the community. So it was really exciting because the doctor that was present said that a lot of them would definitely need to visit the doctor, and they got their numbers, names, telephone contacts, and they're doing a follow-up. Then there were 180 backpacks courtesy of Bahamas Striping, correct?
Partially.
Yeah, but some other partnership was engaged in that. And these backpacks were filled with school supplies. They were distributed to those in attendance. In addition, we had 47 extra school kids. And then one of my mentees, I'm proud to say, I'm not gonna call her name because she does not want her name called. She came to support and help whisper to me, "Do y'all need about 50 more backpacks?" Trust me, when I saw she disappeared and came back to Stephen did it and donated 50 more backpacks. That was over 250 roughly distributions that went out that day. And this Rotarians, I guess, is just an effort of our collaborative achievements between friends, Rotarians, and community sponsors. I mentioned the persons that were there for the health screening. And at the end of the day, there was also a seed given to a parent from the school who advised us that her children were not able to come to the opening of due to not having uniforms. At the end of the day, she left with a seat. The principal called me yesterday and she said, "Let me tell you, you all impacted the lives of the children in that community." And that parent came to her and said, because of the Rotary Club of Nassau, her children was able to come to school. That was so it is our attempt to keep connected to the community and channel needs in the right direction as transformation takes a partnership effort. We want to do more things and we'll discuss that in depth later on, but we want to leave an imprint that marks RCN cares and was here to lend a tangible helping hand transforming our communities one step at a time. The song says, if I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living will not be in vain. RCN!
Together. Thank you very much, Rita. In addition to what Savita has shared, I really want to say to RCN, thank you so much for the tangible donations that you would have given. Because of your contributions, because of the time that you've invested, you've all made our event on Saturday a success. Give yourselves, those on person, those online, give yourselves a round of applause. We were able to make it happen. One part of the class. I think Francina is online. Any secretary updates before we move on to the other parts of our program?
I don't
Okay.
think she's on, no.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much. Let's invite now IBP Chantel to come with the foundation minute. Chantel?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's welcome Chantel as she comes. He's multitasking.
Yes, I am multitasking.
Yes, so
Even before Chantel comes. We had the Canadian, remember last week we had the Canadian guests who came to our meeting. Mark and his wife all the way from Toronto, Canada. I was so surprised on Saturday. They showed up in Stephen Village via taxi. Oh, just to be able to come on. So they showed up on Saturday very early in the morning, came, helped us to pack bikes, etc., etc. Courtesy of incoming President Bain, they had a little more down-home experience than they wanted. But thankfully, again, for his effort, they were able to get to the airport, get there on time. And so we were so delighted to have them. They came and joined us. So let's come on, let's give them a round of applause.
So, as a part of the foundation committee, we had said that we would try to get people to understand foundation a bit more. So we want to bring you some little tidbits every so often, once a month, so that you can understand what's going on in the foundation. So our tidbit for this month, the Rotary Foundation transforms your gifts into service projects that change lives both close to home and around the world. Since it was founded more than 100 years ago, the foundation has spent more than $4 billion, that's billion with a B, on life-changing sustainable projects. With your help, we can make lives better in your community and around the world. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. When our Rotarians and meter was up here, I wasn't sure when I was listening to the budget debate or Rotary agenda, but it was a wonderful event, and I I really wanna give the committee who planned that event another round of applause. It was really spectacular. Please join me. All right, so I think we're at the stage now where we go right into the introduction of our guest speaker. And as I do have a chance to call on any of you, I will just give the bio myself.
Oh,
Unless someone wants to, yeah. I'll just- Right. Oh, sorry. Can't you might have to do it because I tried to pull up my phone. And I couldn't pull up my phone. You have it?
Wait, right there. We got it, right?
We aren't having fellowship time.
Everyone's gonna be. Yeah, okay, probably might have needed more time.
You know, we meal in fellowship.
I see you, I think I think I got the word, right? I got my word, all right.
You found it, Wayne? It's in the board.
So, yes, we will need a fellowship for about 5 minutes before we call our guest speaker. That gives me then the chance to call on someone, to read our guest speaker's bio. Rotary Laverne, I'll give it to you. All right. I'll see you. To that call, and then it's about the
Okay. Right, so.
Okay, well, I think it's next point. All right.
Anybody else?
Anybody there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, unfortunately.
But they this.
You know, I think that, yes.
Darren. We get it. Yes.
All right, so we're back. Hope you had a good opportunity to be in the fellowship. Right? Tell me, be in the fellowship.
I felt like.
That's right. Okay, we're still calling invite and Rotarian DeBerry to introduce my file. Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah,
welcome,
yeah,
DeBerry.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to all. Terry, Jack,
Jackie voice with the mic isn't working. Yeah.
Our speaker is a founding partner of ESS 360 Solutions Limited, specializing in compliance, operations consulting, and other facilitation services.
The mic isn't on.
The former managing director of the Bahamas Development Bank and former executive director of the Securities Commission of the Bahamas. Really achieved marked improvement as evidenced by the 2012 Financial Sector Assessment Program, FSA, along with other key operational and strategic achievements. For example, a signatory status to IOSCO MMOU on December 27, 2012, and the signing of the MOUs with regulators in the European Union, July 22nd, 2013. The distinguished person has 35 years of financial services industry experience, having worked in both offshore and onshore sectors for marquee names including Credit Suisse, UBS, Lloyd's TSB, Meath Pearson, Royal Bank of Canada, Royal Bank of Scotland, International, the Winterbottom Trust Company, and BAC Bahamas Bank Limited. He held numerous senior
managerial positions covering back and middle office operations, compliance, risk, governance, human resources, and strategic and change management. As an industry participant, he has served in numerous capacities as deputy chairman of the National Insurance Board, chairman of Holding Limited, director of Alive Limited, board member, chair of the Public Hospitals Authority, audit, and deputy chair of the finance committees. Is executive vice president, treasurer, and fellow of the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, FDIC, and a member of the Bahamas Association of Compliance Officers, FACO, and the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants, BICA. Our speaker is a certified public accountant and holds both bachelor and master's degrees in business administration from Taylor University, Upland, Indiana. He's a certified compliance and money laundering officer and holds diplomas from the International Compliance Association in conjunction with the Manchester. Our speaker is known for his focus on continuous improvement, resolving operational problems, coaching, and empowering others towards self-actualization and achieving organizational goals. Fellow guests, I present to you our speaker, Dave Smith.
I hope you can all hear me. I try to project. I recognize that as persons were speaking, I was trying to make a determination so whether it was the Church of God convention or a political rally. So I would know how to actually, present myself. But I decided I would take a less raucous approach and perhaps act as if I was in the House of Assembly. I see a lot of familiar faces, so I really was contorted in terms of how to behave myself today. Because so many of you know me in so many different roles. As someone who's quite serious, as someone who is really the gesture and otherwise. But I won't call any names, so I'll just be quiet. But I did get a nudge about not mentioning road masters.
Road masters?
Yes, the premier running club. The funnest running club.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
And I must say that if you want to add 10 years to your life, that is the thing to do. Take up long distance running. Okay? Anyway, let's get into it. I wish to start by saying thank you to the officers and directors for the invitation, and indeed a privilege to address you for about 20 minutes this afternoon under the caption, Ethics, a Charge to Keep. I have to do two things in the day of multitasking. So let me give a disclaimer first. The views expressed in this presentation are my own. And do not represent those of any organization with which I am or have been employed or a member of any association whatsoever. So I may embellish some things for emphasis. And I am always happy to give this disclaimer because it brings with it a certain amount of liberty. All right. In my view, Rational thinking persons have given thought to ethics, values, and integrity as a result of the emerging scandals, or what appears to be scandals globally and locally. All right, and you may recognize some of these. Enron, Anderson, Arthur Anderson, you had the VC fiasco, BBC, now BPL. That had to do with bribery, etc. If you don't know the picture to the bottom, that's Norman's Tea. We know the issues around there. But the one that you may not be familiar with is the gentleman hugging that lady. It's called a sex bot. A sex bot. That's right. So this is just an example of emerging ethical issues. The initial intent was to develop this particular technology for persons who were otherwise handicapped, etc. But as you know, we find application for all kinds of things, but it also brings with it certain ethical questions that need to be resolved. So, in my view, rational thinking persons have given thought to this. And you could take a look at some of these scandals or things that give rise to ethical questions. So let's start with the working definition. I find that this is an important undertaking to define things nowadays, as in my view, the English language tends to get lost a bit. So ethics, moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conducting of an activity. So that's the basic working definition of ethics. In the Bahamian context, we are beginning to see an erosion of the pure application of this meaning as society begins to adopt a more fluid approach to reality and value-based integrity. There appears to be a move toward relativism, or what could be referred to as meta ethics, as opposed to embracing more firm parameters of what is right and wrong. I am convinced that this shift is influenced by our worldview, or our bending of reality over time, arising from exposure to other cultures, generational shifts. For example, you have the baby boomers, the millennials, Generation Z, etc. The advent of technology, or the technological revolution, has brought new challenges. These, and also pressures from multinational organizations, such as the UN, in terms of impacting how a country makes decisions on certain things like CEDAW, etc., and what all comes along with that. Notwithstanding the aforementioned, constitutional identity of us as a Bahamian people is uniquely our own shepherding responsibility via the political class and the citizenry at large. So this is the preamble to the Constitution. There are some things I want you to pay attention to. For example, there's a line there that says, and abiding, what's that word? Respect for Christian values. Then there's another line that talks about supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights, etc. And then there's another line that talks about how, as a country, we are created under God. So this is the preamble to the Constitution. This is intended to be our identity as a people. This is important because this should inform our world view. A worldview. A worldview is a commitment, a fundamental orientation of the heart that can be expressed as a story or in a set of presumptions. So it can be real or unreal. But we all ought to have worldview. What I'd like to do is to perhaps propose what ought to be considered as you develop a worldview if you haven't developed one yet. Worldview is influenced by your religious beliefs. So, for example, there are some set of questions that normally should be asked when you're formulating a worldview. Number one, origin. Where did I come from? Number two, identity. Who am I? Number three, meaning. What is my purpose? Four, morality. How should I live? And five, destiny. What happens when I die? And if you take those questions, you can see how they easily relate to various religious perspectives. So considering the above questions, foundational to your or our worldview is our religious belief. Our beliefs inform our actions, decisions. For example, if I believe my soul dissolves after I die, then I should live to bring out of life every possible pleasure I can have. If I believe there's accountability after I die, then that will inform the decision I make in terms of whether I'm doing something that's right or wrong, ethical or unethical. So your worldview informs your ethical standing. So basically, there are ethical theories, meta ethics, which is a bit psychedelic. I don't even bother delving into that because it asks questions like, could ethics exist irrespective of humanity, etc., and all of that. We'll delve into that. Normative ethics, which I want to highlight today, is where I prefer to land, and then you have applied ethics, which is examining pretty, controversial issues. In my opinion, applied ethics to also be brought into normative ethics. So I want to focus a bit on normative ethics. So I would like to posit that in our national and individual decision making, our worldview and thus our ethical position ought to be aligned with what has been framed in the preamble to our Constitution. If not, then how are we defined as a people? What makes us Bahamian? What do we believe? What is the ethical charge we are to keep? I am convinced that the preamble to the Constitution, which supremacy of God, unifying belief in Christian values and the rule of law, predisposes us to the adoption of normative ethics, which seeks to arrive at moral standards that regulate right and wrong. Moreover, whether you're looking at the teleological, consequential, or deontological approach, which should be taken in regard to the particular issue you're dealing with. Okay. Normative ethics delve into these particular areas. My preference is always to take the deontological approach. That's my preference. For me, it's clear, less ambiguous. All of these approaches have challenges, but I think in terms of one that is easiest to adopt and live out, I would say the ontological approach. So, the ontological ethics What does it consider? Most significant thing here is that moral principles are completely separated from any consequence which following those principles might have. So it's either right or wrong. You're not worrying about the consequences of the city. That's the ontological approach. Okay. But that also presents sometimes a conflict or a dilemma. So for example, if lying was immoral, would it have been immoral for you to lie to also save the life of a Jew? That's the dilemma. Okay, so you have two, lying is wrong, killing is wrong. How do you resolve that? That's the dilemma. The dilemma is not a choice between something that is right and wrong. The dilemma is a choice between two things that are equally right. If something's right and something's wrong, you just have to make a decision. There's no grayness, there's no contortion. So under the ontological theory, you have some other things like divine command, duty, and rights, for example. So divine command, an action is morally correct, whether it is an agreement with the rules and duties established by God. Okay, I think those of us who might belong to also professional organizations have codes of conduct or codes of ethic, and that's some rules how we should behave. Unfortunately, as in the world today, God is put black and white, but nobody really lives it. That's evident what we see in the world in terms of some of the marketing and financial institutions, etc. They find billions of dollars because of unethical behavior, whether it's liable fixing or rate fixing or mortgage, so etc. As well as not to pick on lawyers. But no, I believe we're doing anything. So we're talking about the subject, but there might be some real life experiences that you may have to yourself. Right? That's why I'm about. I haven't had any of experience. But for example, if you have an ethical code, lawyers are accountable for it. And it's clear not, but because of the financial reward, some professionals prefer to blink and wait. Okay, that introduction of the financial reward overrides everything else. So then you ask the question, well, what is your worldview? And what is your ethical position? Fluid, but it's fixed. So a problem with the ontological approach is that it provides no clear way to resolve conflicts between moral duties. So the duty to save life and the duty not to lie, for example. It doesn't give you a way to resolve that. So this, I think, will always be a challenge. But I think some of the decisions that we need to make are not, we need to make, particularly on the national stage, are not actually the limits. Yes, decisions that we need to make. So, how might we keep this charge in our various spheres and roles? So, I would like to suggest that one, we evaluate our ethical framework and seek clarity with respect to your worldview by answering those 5 questions. Where did I come from? Who am I? What's my purpose? How should I live? And what happens when I die? You can also embrace normative applied ethical principles, such as the principle of benevolence, help those in need, But what I've heard, what Gordon has been trying to do from the report, help those that need it. There's another principle of fraternalism. Assist others in pursuing their best interests when they cannot do so themselves. Again, I heard that today. Principle of harm. Do not harm others. Principle of lawfulness. Do not violate law, for example. And the third thing that you can do is consistently practice what you believe. One of the most critical things today. Be authentic. Be authentic. As a professional, adhere to your professional code of conduct and ethical rules. Communicate with honesty and uphold transparency. Avoid conflicts of interest. Ensure the means justify the end, not the end justify the means. These seem simple and straightforward. However, each of us, when faced with the rigors and challenges of life, will come face to face with having to consider whether we're going to be ethically anchored or we're going to be a bit more fluid. Okay, so you dispatched a survey. I'm going to be wrapping up right here, just to let you know what the results were. So roughly 100% of the people thought that ethics was important. Right? I think some 60 some more people completed the survey. And a lot of people said they had a dilemma. I don't know if that was a choice between something that was right and something that was wrong, or two right things. But 100% said they had a dilemma. So there you go. This must be a relevant topic. I'm going to go to the last one because I think this one everybody was interested in seeing. Wow. Ethical profession in the country.
Clergy? Oh my God.
No. Actually, the least ethical contractors.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Contractors for your politicians. Yeah. So clergy was considered the most ethical. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, clergy was considered the most. So yes, one for the clergy. I don't know that lawyers and I can't believe
Attorney is what? No. Fourth thing. Attorney right after politician.
All right.
I think, yeah.
So anyway, Rotarians, keeping the charge of ethical behavior, decision making can seem like a daunting ask. And from my experience, especially in the Bahamas context, it can cost you a job, promotion, political opportunity, friendships, etc. However, I believe if each of us set out to live out our constitutional obligation, you will realize the positive impact on our national and social lives. If you've been challenged, then I have succeeded in my objective, and I thank you for your time and attention.
We have questions, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, two questions by Shelby. I wanted to do one, but I'll go to any other questions. Anyone has questions for speaker? Well, I have a question.
I thought you had a question.
All right, go ahead, Sheila, you go for it. I'll go after you.
Hi, why is there this correlation that everybody has in their head that you have to be religious to be moral? I am an atheist. I am moral. I support the community, I do all sorts of things, shut up, Sam. And, you know, I just do not like seeing this constant correlation between the two. Why?
You could make a correlation, there is a correlation, in terms of, the point is, ethics is based on your religious belief, including atheism.
That's not a religion.
Well, it is, it is
not.
the word view.
It's
Yeah.
well, exactly.
It,
Well,
local context, it is placed among the religion. That's just how it is. That's my wife. That's how it is. But your worldview will determine what your ethical position is. I am only positing that as a nation, a determination was made based on the Constitution and beyond the Constitution, that this is what the nation is supposed to be.
okay, so if you're basing that on the Bahamian Constitution, then fair enough. But I mean, I'm in sales and marketing, or I was, I've retired. And I still brought my ethical practices and my ethical views to what I was doing with sales and marketing. Having kicked out clients who were quite lucrative for my company because they were looking for me to do things that I did not regard as ethical, i.e. paying kickbacks. You know, I mean, you have to, this is just so generalized, you know. I mean, I realize this is the views of our, you know, kind of members here, but it is an overview, I think, of the perception of a large amount of the population worldwide.
So, well, when you look at ethics, a broad topic, it's extremely broad. Okay, it doesn't exclude what you are speaking. It doesn't exclude that. For the sake of time or the focus, again, this is what I chose to do. But certainly, you could speak about ethics from any of those.
Well, we could argue for the next 10 hours.
Let me put it here, right? So you can speak about ethics from any of these.
Yeah. I'm
This
just
one- this one
challenging
is
you.
not-
I like arguing. Everybody here can tell you that. But I think it was an excellent presentation. Thank you.
And I like arguing too, so maybe.
Let's for the second time.
Yeah, that's the next
I know I'm working with the wrap up very quickly. I'll invite Shelby just in one more, but I just have to really ask this question, right? And that is that my observation in America is that Donald Trump seems to be doing exceptionally well in the polls. So sorry. Notwithstanding that he's been accused of all of these corruption allegations and offenses against the law, but yet still, you know, he's managing to really seem as though he has the popular vote inside his party at least. And then his closest competitor is Governor DeSantis, who also seems to be taking just a milder approach to Donald Trump. Yet still he's doing exceptionally well compared to the other candidates. So my thing is that I'm wondering really, how do you explain that, considering your topic with ethics and morality and the like? I mean, where is the world going? Where are we missing something here?
No, I think you can ask the fundamental question: what do you believe? What is it that America believes? And if you look at what America may have been 200 years ago in terms of beliefs, it certainly changed over time. That would have been influenced by various revolutions. When it was the Industrial Revolution, now it's the technology revolution, the advent of social media, etc., the speed at which information moves, the fundamentals of what persons may have been taught. Now you see what the DeSantis is accused of doing in terms of changing the history, banning certain things. So if you hide information, this is why transparency is important. If you hide information, then they have nothing to rationally consider. Their options are limited, right? And there's a belief that if you repeat something over and over and over and over again, it tends to ring true. But this is where, again, there is a charge for keep. you know, someone needs to say, this does not align with. Or this is not acceptable behavior based on what we want to believe. Okay, so that's perhaps why Trump is successful.
So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dave, for ethics 203. Right,
203.
right on the exam. So, you know, you left us to ponder 5 very important questions. And I just want to echo them again, because I thought they were very profound. It's, where did I come from? Who am I? What am I here for? What's my purpose? And what happens when I die? And I thought it was so important that we tied in the Constitution and then based it on what we believe. Right? So thank you so much for that, Dave. I'm sure it's going to be a topic that we're going to talk about the rest of the day, or even carry on at home with our families. I think it's important. From one fellow compliance and risk officer to the other, thank you so much for your views. You know, ethics is the topic of the day in my life every single day. And so on behalf of the Rotary Club of Nassau, thank you for your thought-provoking conversations, and thank you that we're now able to live out ethics every day in our lives. I want to say hello, I'm at the teacher room.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna get our count now for our raffle.
125.
125 for the raffle. I don't think we actually find anyone.
Not yet.
Well, not yet, you still have time?
Well, Sam was proactive.
Okay, great. Sam came late, so that's very good. Anyone else with any infractions, today, please, as far as you put in our $5 in the pocket, any infractions, you know? I know at one point, phone went off and she meant to answer it, just make sure you put a fine for that, right? Your phone rings.
Yeah,
And then while we're talking, yes, I'll leave it, it can be fine for that as well. Okay, so anyone, just put in $5, right? All right, what else do we have? All right, into the 4-week test. Oh, Ralph, oh, okay, so I'll invite our membership director.
I only get 1 clap. Give it a five. It's interesting, when I looked at his survey, I saw that the survey, sir, had been talking, ethics was the clergy. Was the contractor. It's interesting that they both building something. 1 billion lives in the kingdom, 1 billion earthly stuff, but that's one different story.
There you go.
All right, they both accept money, but that's a whole different story. But today we want to celebrate our members. We want to celebrate our members, and very quickly, we have a member, Nikita. Where's Nikita? Nikita, I want to invite you to come up very quickly. Come up very quick and bring your guests. Bring your guests. You are the only person that brought a guest to an in-person meeting. So we want to celebrate Nikita. This is your buddy, right? So we want to present to you these little gift certificates.
Oh, wow.
That's all. Something sweet for both you and your guests. It's always sweet to come, and this is something sweet for you. So we want to present it to both of you ladies. Yeah, I think you need ladies. That's one of the things. Bring your buddy in here. that side.
How do you get now? Sorry.
It shall be changed. They want to change.
Alexia, give Alexia. Nikita, we want to put her on the fast track for membership. If you are here and you brought your buddy with you, let me see your hand. Please. Yeah. I need to- Oh, so Sheila, and Wayne, who has Sheila was in the house. We going to work on, guys. Sheila, that was. Deborah next meeting. So listen, we want to celebrate. This is what the meeting is all about. It's about fellowship. It's about we make sure that everyone is part of Rotary in our club. But today we are going to celebrate Jamie's back. Okay, today I'm going to ask the membership committee come just before I ask birthday persons to come. Jamie, Shelby, who else we have? Wayne. Join me very quickly as we celebrate these persons. We want to do something. I thank our president. I thank our president. He called and he said, you know, we want to celebrate those persons every month. We're going to be celebrating those persons who have birthdays. We want to make sure that they're so. I'm going to invite our membership committee. These are the persons who every month they're going to be looking at doing different initiatives for the membership. So give it up for the membership committee. And also for those persons who are celebrating their birthdays, let's call them. If you are here and you're celebrating your birthday, please stand very quickly. If you're celebrating your birthday in July and August, please stand. Anybody celebrating their birthday? All right, hand right. We're gonna do our birthday song for them. Do you have our birthday song? Only Nikita and who else? John. You know that they okay, membership committee. We're gonna dance with them.
Ready?
Come on, membership. We're gonna dance with them.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. How old am I now? My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. So I can party all night.
First. Okay, so you all cut the cake and give it to whomever you all want. Well, I choose. All right. The answer is no. John, who will you give the first piece of cake to?
Give this to my buddy.
Yes.
I'm not overweight enough already. Who wants to share?
What's good with cutting? Okay. Okay, let's go. Yes, okay, that's what-
See the thing you can count when you put on
Okay, the winning raffle ticket is number, last week they did 620.
You see, that's me.
620.
What's ready, what's again?
Not this one. Oh, it's the gift.
No minutes?
Brandon.
Pick another one. That's going to be four-way test. All right, I'll ask our Assistant District Governor Larry to do the four-way test first, please. That's what, guys, don't stand.
Things we say or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And
And, Royal Wooden Toast. We'll ask, Shabazz, Rotarian Shabazz, you said, post us, please. I got it.
You mean Shabbat? We need to find
Jim,
$20 for
Jim,
that
you can ask
because.
Jim, Rotarian Jim, provide.
Three around the world.
All right, awesome meeting you, Rotarians.
Awesome.
Taking some cake, plenty cake over there, and have a wonderful weekend.
All right. Thank you for that.